Jacob loved his son Joseph more than any of his other sons, and it nearly destroyed his family. Sadly, Jacob was showing favoritism in a similar way that he had seen his parents show favoritism to him and his brother. And while important familial relationships were nearly destroyed because of favoritism, God still used it to fulfill his purposes. Want to know what I mean? Stay tuned. Hi, my name is Rachel Pinkerton. I'm the author of the Parents of the Bible series, and I have a new book coming out in May. As I have been reflecting on what I have been working on and reading and learning, it has struck me again of how favoritism affects families, and not in a good way. Jacob was well known for favoring his son Joseph, his second to youngest son, over all the rest of his other children. That included the 10 older boys. That favoritism led all of the older, slighted brothers to hate Joseph and to not be able to say anything peaceable to him. That hatred also led to them selling their brother into slavery and lying to their dad, saying that he had been eaten by a wild animal. So why did Jacob have favoritism for his son Joseph? Well, there are a few reasons. One, he was the oldest son of Jacob's favorite wife. More favoritism here. But also, Jacob saw favoritism growing up as a child. His mom, Rebecca, had twin boys, himself and his older brother Esau. Esau being the one who was born first of the two twins. Rebecca loved Jacob. Isaac loved Esau. That favoritism led to a few key moments that completely split the brothers apart and led to Jacob being away from the family for about 20 years, never seen his mom again. And it was during this time that Jacob was away from his family that his own favoritism started, where he had a favorite wife, Rachel, and then her oldest son became his favorite son. What's really struck me as I have been writing this book is how God uses everything for his glory. Even the things that are hurtful, painful, shameful, he somehow weaves it in for good. One example is how God used Rebecca to fulfill his purpose for Jacob being the leader of the nation of Israel. God could have done it anyway, but he still chose to use Rebecca and her trickery to work for his good. He also used Jacob's time away from his family to make him the father of many children. God had promised Abraham that he would be the father of many people, of a great nation, with Abraham only one promised son, Isaac, and then that son only having one promised son, Jacob. Jacob now has 12 sons who become the 12 tribes of Israel. God also used the hatred of Joseph's brothers against him to later preserve their lives. I've often wondered, how would history have been different if Jacob had not favored Joseph and Joseph had not been sold into slavery? Would God have still sent the famine? Would he have used somebody else? Would he have had Joseph kidnapped and taken down to Egypt? How would he have done that? We don't know. But God used these very painful circumstances for his good by having Joseph preserve food for a wide area of people, not just Egypt. I guess what I'm trying to say is God uses common, ordinary, sinful humans to bring about his will and his purposes. He takes bad situations and turns them into something beautiful. Now, we may not always know how that's going to turn out. We may not even see it in our lifetime. But somehow, some way, God can use the painful situations in your life, the sinful situations in your life, for his glory and his good. If you want to read more about Jacob and Joseph and favoritism and Rebecca and Isaac and all these people I have mentioned today, be sure to check out my book when it comes out in May. It's talking about various parents and what we can learn from their negative examples of parenting. In the meantime, you can check out my book, Parents of the Bible Genesis. It's a Bible study aimed primarily at moms that looks at different parents in the book of Genesis and one in the book of Judges, because there was a really good tie-in I couldn't resist putting in. You can check out that Bible study to learn more about what we can learn from Bible parents. If you're not into parenting, I have some guided Psalms journals that have been a valuable addition to how I see the Psalms and the Bible as a whole. because it asks questions such as, what does this passage say about God? How does he help us? How is Jesus highlighted in this psalm? What connections can be made to other passages of scripture? There's also a place where you can do some personal reflection and application, as well as write your own prayer based on that psalm. All these are available on Amazon. You can check the link in my description below. If you're interested in learning more about my new book, be sure to sign up for my newsletter at rachelpinkerton.com. Link again in the description below. When you do sign up for my newsletter, I send you the first 5 chapters of the Guided Psalms Journal for you to try in your own personal devotions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.